Hello, once again, everyone. Roger Baines here with Creating with Your Spiritual Universe, CWYSU.com. That's CWYSU.com. And I want to talk about, I do blogs, and I haven't done one in a while. Also been a blog contributor to a particular YouTube channel as well. And I made one, and I shared it. But this particular channel, its name is Higher Self. It has a robotic reader. A lot of my friends said, "You know what? It's a good blog, but I just can't stand a robot reading your stuff. Why don't you do it over again and do it in your voice?" So I said, "Okay, I'll do it." And so that prompted me to create a blog once a month and publish it on WordPress. I'll have the link below. I've got just a few there, and I'm just going to start doing them once a month and then reading them out. And if you want to just read them for yourself, you can uh, click on the WordPress link and get it. So I'm going to read this one. I'm going to focus for today, and on Friday I'm going to put out the second version. This particular blog readout is going to be about karma in general. And then this Friday, stay tuned, because I'm going to talk about the mechanisms, the ins and outs, the details, how the system actually works, and how to bypass the whole thing. See, the key is I want people to watch this channel, get news, but the circumstances and the type of subject that this channel speaks about are the things that we need to do to become sovereign. So often it could sound really, really more like, oh my God, that's another bad thing they're doing to us. And I don't want that to be the thought, because if you notice with all of the videos that I put out, I talk about the issue, then I give the solution. So everything has a solution. It is universal law. Nothing can be brought into existence, or no problem can be brought into existence, without the seeds of its solution sown within it. Nothing. And so if we know that, it gives us a lot of hope to know that one truth. Oh my God, global warming. There's a solution to it. Once we really find out the truth behind global warming, and I'm not going to get into that, we're going to go, oh my gosh, this is the problem. All we have to do is this to solve it. Once we get this planet out of the hands of the unconscious destroyers, or the unconscious manipulators and those wishing to keep us in enslavement, once we're free, and once we start using our creativity, notice I'm big on creativity, because that is where our power is. It's in your imagination. Your imagination is the playing field of your creativity. So when you were growing up, they said, oh my God, stop making stuff up. Stop imagining that in your mind. And we took that down. That is a program purposely there to remove the foundations of our creative powers. It's in the imagination. We imagine stuff all the time. In order for an inventor to invent anything, they must imagine it. So you see, imagination is extremely important. Well, let's get back to the subject at hand, which is karma, and what true karma is, and how it's been perverted and warped, and how we can align ourselves with true karma and just throw the garbage, rubbish stuff to the side and just leave it alone. It all comes down to what I always say as a theme here. If you don't pay any attention to it, you remove its power, and then you remove your consent, and it will simply drift away. It might take a little time. Simply drift away. I do not subscribe to any of the ideals of false karma, and therefore it does not apply to me. because I'm always keeping in line or attempting to. I'm not perfect, but my objective is always to be in balance and calibration with my spirit, with my sovereign self. And that puts me in line with everything else. You know, in the article I wrote, being in line with the universe. That's one thing I'll change. Don't be in line with the universe. Be in line with your sovereign source self. You created the universe. There's a universe within you. It depends on you for its survival. So therefore, it all comes back to you. Okay, so I'm going to start this article and I'm going to read it, and we'll start blog time here at the Creating with Your Spiritual Universe channel. So let me get started with that reading right now. So the purpose of karma is to act as a barometer or an indicator of how well balanced you are with the universe. Knowing this information allows you to make adjustments in behavior and actions that are in line with universal law. Actions that will bring peace, love, and happiness into your life. And being mindful of one's actions and behaviors is a brilliant way to keep spiritually aligned and balanced with all that is benevolent. What then is false karma? False karma is the belief that a life of pain and perpetual suffering is perhaps the result of past life misgivings. However, it is not in the best interest of one's soul to have experiences that do not serve the soul's purpose. How do things like child abuse, rape, murder, torture, and all manner of misfortune on a continuous basis do that? They do not. No one should buy the story, and yes, it is a story, that events causing dire pain and suffering are due to past life transgressions. No one can prove that any such events ever occurred. Furthermore, a human being, having chosen to incarnate into this rugged existence, likely agreeing to help to transform it for the better, does not deserve hell on earth. Though life can be harsh for some, it is not a punishment for past transgressions. Acts that perpetuate suffering are likely being done to prevent the sufferer from fulfilling the true purpose for incarnating on Gaia. Suffering is the only phenomenon that stunts the growth of consciousness, and anything that does not works against the agenda of the spirit and the soul. Karma has been twisted in such a way as to trick humanity into suffering, which prevents advancements of consciousness and spiritual growth. What suffering does is place the victim into the very densest of vibrations. The lowering of vibration and frequency then allows low-dimensional parasitic beings to feed on the soul of the unwitting and unaware victims. There is nothing balanced about suffering. Suffering damages the psyche and creates cycles and patterns of victimhood that lead to more of the same. The really sinister nature of suffering is that it allows one to be hooked into via the triggers and unhealed wounds caused by traumatic experiences, making the victim susceptible to repeated cycles of reincarnation that continue more of the same. Now, I want to talk a little bit about suffering, because a lot of people say, well, you need suffering to progress or to learn or to know how other people feel. And for that, I say pain is a part of life. You sometimes need pain to move you forward. Suffering, however, is a choice. Suffering is a choice, because what suffering is your spirit is going, please, we have to move forward. We have to get to the next level. And it says so in a soft, kind voice. And then if nothing happens, then the results of you not heeding your spirit perhaps because you're listening more to the ego, which is the your self-identified, your identity. Then whatever your spirit is trying to get you to move from then starts to really take effect. And then it becomes painful. Once you get to the pain part, you should move. If you decide to stay there, it's suffering. It's a choice. Now, don't get me wrong. Someone born, say, in a country or a place where, there's a whole lot of natural disasters, they're born in starvation and they're born in famine. I'm not talking about those people. I'm not talking about that kind of suffering. That kind of suffering is not a choice, okay? I'm talking about people who have the choices and the ability to move out of suffering, but choose not to, okay? So when you're in suffering, it means you should be moving. And so the mere fact that you're not moving forward in your path and making progress causes suffering. It is an indicator that you're stagnant and going nowhere. Okay? So what that does is that keeps you where you are, lowers your vibrations, and brings you into the realm of the parasitic beings that are looking to create trauma and wounds within you, which then they use to hook you when you pass from this life. That's what they do. That's how they hook you. Everything that you need to do to be able to bypass the soul trap, the trick of the light when you die, you do while you're living. See, that is the trick. People say, oh, when I come back, I'm going to do it different. No, you correct all of that while you're living. And then you will be trick-proof when you pass from here. But if you're suffering, you're allowing yourself to be hooked into and to create all kinds of hooks and levers for those who want to recycle you and feed on you like cattle. So that solution is coming up, so don't worry. Now, we must challenge those who support this heinous and vicious cycle through their teachings and advice. The false version of karma is a scam, people. It is a scam that keeps you as food for parasitic beings. These parasitic beings view humanity as cattle to be fed upon, feeding on fear, pain, misery, and all the lower-based emotions by causing you to live in them, as opposed to using them as a mechanism to kind of help you find your way. That's what all emotions are there for. Now, how does one solve this problem? The power of intention is all that is needed to stop this hoax. Do not accept that you are here on earth to live in misery. Reclaim your sovereignty and take back all the power that you have given to those who now possess it. This is done with your will and your intention only. Revoke all the soul contracts that have authorized these activities. They are the saboteurs of your purpose. Okay? They are the saboteurs of your purpose. We're told, well, you're told, well, you must, you're going through all this stuff in this life. It must be because of something you've done, you have to pay it off. You have to bring balance to all that stuff, maybe, some people are told, oh, you were a big time murderer or a dictator that, committed genocide against X amount of people. How do you know that? Nobody really knows that. And here's the problem with this whole issue. I'll put it up in a nutshell. When you're paying or reparations or paying for something that you did, you must know what it is that you're being punished for or paying back for. That is how you know how to correct and make advancements in your spiritual growth. If you do not know, if you're being punished and you don't know what you're being punished for, it does no good. You have to make a connection with what it is you're paying for and what it is that you've done. Otherwise, it's unjust and it's wicked. It's unjust and it's wicked and it's unproductive and it is torture. because there is no way that you can make a connection to anything if you don't know what it is that you're being called onto the carpet for. So that's one of the obvious things. Here's the next thing that doesn't make any sense. So you did all this stuff in these other lives or whatever, and my next blog will talk about how this really works in detail. So you did all this stuff. So who's going to punish you? You know who's going to do it? All the people in your life. Your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your family, your coworkers, all the people that you come into contact with. They're the ones that are going to be punishing you. And guess what's going to happen to them when they die? These so-called, and they're called the lords of karma, and they're nothing but parasitic archonic beings. These guys are going to say, well, you know, say to them, well, you know, you made Roger suffer. You were very inconsiderate. You were very, very, very cruel. So now you have to endure that cruelty in your next life, or otherwise we'll send you to hell. Now, hell doesn't exist, but if you believe in it, you go, oh my God, I'd rather do that than go to hell. Or you go, okay, you know, okay, I'll go back and I'll take care of that. And so when they get into life, someone does the same to them. And you see how this vicious cycle has no end. And only those who feed on your energy are benefiting. You see how that cycle will never end? And you see why it doesn't make any sense? And you see why it's false? Okay? Now, you can revoke all of this with your intention only. Revoke all the soul contracts that have authorized these activities. They are the saboteurs of your purpose, as I've said before. It is important to reclaim the energy given to these soul contracts and agreements, release the pain and suffering these agreements have caused you, and finally, remember that you owe pain and suffering to no thing and no one. Every human being is here to bring light and love to this planet, not to come here to suffer for anything that they have done in the past, which I will get into how that is done. This Friday, I'll upload that video and to really get into the falsehoods that have been perpetrated on humanity and how we are going to transcend all of that. We're going to transcend all of that. Okay, now, let me get this straightened out here. Okay, good. So that is a little overlay of a little explanation of karma and how it's been used. And in the front, I kind of gave it a little indicator of what true karma is. And true karma, because I want to end it on a positive note, true karma is the result of anything that you've done. Anything that you do. True karma is neutral. It's not evil, it's not bad. Karma is going to get you, karma is a bitch, it'll get you in there. No. True karma is just it's a biochemical reaction of any and everything that you do. Example, you go to work for 5 days, you agree to a salary, you do the work, you get paid. That's karma. That's all it is. It's very simple. It's a very simple universal law that's been twisted. You work and you put your effort into something and you get the result of it. That's all it is. And you're either happy with the results or you're not. So if you want to change your karma in that sense, do something else to give you the karma that you want. And karma is immediate. Karma is immediate. You don't die, and then you've got this so-called karma built up that you got to get rid of in the next lifetime. Okay? It's immediate. You get rid of it in this lifetime. Okay? So that's the end of this blog. Share, like, and subscribe. And remember to defy the taboo against finding out who you really are. Thank you.